information. That's the goal, so if you want to start us off?
One question, are we sending
What's
a
that?
sign-up sheet around the?
Yep,
Yeah.
already going.
Okay, cool, okay.
Alrighty, what can I help with, sir?
Immigration. I certainly think we need to control the immigration. And you hear a lot about chain migration and DACA, what to do with that. I've not heard anything recently about anchor babies, and I'm concerned about that because I've been reading lately that there are hospitals, apparently in California, that specialize in pregnant ladies coming in for 2 or 3 days, having their baby,
Turkey.
Russia, and having their baby, so that baby's a citizen, and just going back to their home country in anticipation of maybe coming here someday or something, and I think that's abusing the system.
I think the Chinese do that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing it, apparently, it's big business in California.
It's not, I can tell you that it's not part of the discussion at the moment.
I know it isn't, I'm
With the
concerned.
president, as you know, many people saw the president met with members of Congress, the House and the Senate a couple of days ago. It was an hour-long meeting, and there were several issues brought up. That was not one of the issues. I did not see the whole thing. I only saw about 40 minutes of it, so I did not see the whole thing. But I did not see anchor babies, the issue of anchor babies come up. So, to my knowledge, have you seen any more on that?
I don't think that's.
That doesn't seem to
they're
be
looking
part
at
of
A
it.
things
couple
like
years ago, that was big news.
That was, yeah. What I
And
think,
it's just, we don't
I
hear
think
it.
it goes along with it though. I mean, you're talking about immigrants, illegal immigrants, and they keep coming in. Those children really, in a way, are illegal immigrants because these illegal people, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing when they have their children here.
Well,
So,
the DACA recipients
that's right. That's right.
are basically being treated, or people want to treat them as anchor babies. That is, they've been here for a long time, they deserve citizenship, and, you know, I don't have a real strong feeling on that, but I do believe that people shouldn't be coming here just to have babies that are citizens.
I can actually
Noted.
speak to some of that. My understanding legally is that it's actually much more easy for people to go through the process of being here as citizens, and having anchor babies is not really a realistic option for people. It's not a logical one that people actually tie to, because what actually happens is that people are removed from the country and their children go with them. So children are not actually, and people know this, an anchor for parents to this country. It actually happens in the opposite direction.
When that child turns 16, 17, 18,
21.
That's
21,
not what I hear.
they're
I
ripped
just
in.
came back from California. My driver was from Bulgaria, and he was talking about that, about the amount of anchor babies coming in and illegals. And since he's a legal immigrant, he said that they vie with him for jobs because they'll undercut him. And he was railing on all the illegal immigration in California. Also, I have a legal Mexican immigrant friend, and she's from a border in southern Mexico, and she said before Mexico built that wall, it was a huge problem. She said there were plane loads of people coming from Turkey and other places, disembarking by her town, and they didn't just get there. They kidnapped people, held them for ransom. She said her nephew was kidnapped. If they didn't raise a certain amount of money in a few days, he would be killed. And he was killed, and she went down for his funeral. So it's a huge problem because the coyotes get a hold of them, and they need money. They don't just land there. They come up through Mexico.
Arizona, they do that too.
Yeah, and they need the money to forward. She said 5 of her relatives left their homes. There were so many kidnappings there that, and they went to the largest house so somebody could be armed at all times and protect the household. That's what my legal Mexican friend told me.
So as a Mexican in the
Pardon?
room, as a Mexican woman
Mm-hmm.
in the room,
Yeah.
not a friend out there with the story, I think that the best possible move forward is to consider logical responses and not emotional ones focused on narrative.
Well, those are
I need to
logical
finish.
facts
Can I
that she
finish?
gave me.
Well, that's legal, she's legal.
And so I think that what maybe is the initial problem is a lack of education about the facts for people all around.
Well, I just gave
And
you the
an
facts for
understanding,
her.
I'm giving you my facts,
Yeah,
and I would appreciate not being interrupted. The facts are that having anchor babies, as they're called, who are human beings with dignity, is not a realistic option for people if they are looking at staying in the country in some way, shape, or form. I'm not done.
It is
Please
realistic.
not interrupt her. What actually happens is that people's children get removed with them. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. And in order for us to restore the rule of law in this country, you need to think about logical, reasonable, thoughtful ways of restoring humans' dignity for these families, and understand that perhaps educating on the realities of people's predicaments and places and the situations that drive them to these kinds of decisions needs to maybe be a way forward. I'm offering a suggestion.
I'm
and
going to,
some
I appreciate
understanding.
that, but really, the issue, like with the immigration debate right now, is not really involving anchor babies. It's involving whether there should be a wall. It's involving whether people who are here illegally, not born here, but illegally, should be sent back and so on. So I just like to focus, if we could, on if we're going to be talking about the law, I appreciate the issue that you brought up, but if we're going to be discussing the law and what's going on in Washington, if we could just focus on what they're discussing as opposed to going off. I mean, we understand the issue of the anchor babies is an issue, but it's not something that's being discussed right now.
Absolutely.
Whether it should be or not is another issue.
I think as a critical thinker and as people who need to think about an issue fully, offering perspectives if they come up at the table is just what I'm trying to
No, I appreciate that. But I'm just saying, we have a limited time, so I'd like to I know there are a lot of people and a lot of issues, and so let us, shall we move on to?
No, yeah, that was a good discussion.
Good
around
discussion
it.
there. And,
Just keep it civil, good conversation. That's what our goal here is. But if we want to move along the line on the left side, I believe
You're
you're
next.
Are you next?
Well, yeah, I felt the same thing too.
About
As far as
immigration. Okay.
Immigration issue.
illegal immigration really does concern me.
Okay.
It concerns me how it affects our schools, how it affects everything in our country, the money that we have. It's disproportionate to what we have in this country, and it affects the hospitals. They can't pay those hospital bills, and we end up paying for them. I have a gal, and I really didn't, but she rented a house for me. And they say they pay taxes, but I don't believe that they really pay taxes, because all she did was dollars. And American dollars, but anyway, the thing about it is that I asked for her checking account number and everything, and usually I check it, but I was given this big promise before. So I really, at the time I let them stay, or I rented the house out to them, I went along with it, but I had a really strange feeling about them paying all this money every month, full of money, that bothered me. And I just really think that they were not legal Americans. I just really don't. And I think that her boyfriend that she had living there, he was not legal. You find out this stuff after a while. But anyway, he actually, the government had him come to Florida. And they found out he had abused his mother, so he got sent back. The whole point is we've got a lot of people that they say that they're paying taxes, but they really, there's a lot that aren't. They're just saving their dollars, and we're paying for them, and people say that they're paying taxes, and I don't care, anybody in this room can say that they're paying taxes, but I'll tell you what, I don't believe they are. I just really don't.
Okay, so it seems like immigration's a big issue there. Okay, all right, moving on.
Okay, I wanted to hear what the representative's position is on extending the chip funding, because the 19th of January is very close.
Yes.
And too many children are already at risk and have been at risk. We have a responsibility to care for the most vulnerable folks. The children need that support. So what is your position on extending?
Oh, yeah, the Congresswoman's very much in favor of extending CHIP and the funding for it. We've always been behind the program, and we're looking forward to signing another extension of it soon. Leave it up, ma'am.
So my issue is protecting ACA and access to affordable healthcare
Okay.
for Missourians, including protecting access for folks access to Planned Parenthood and access to the vital preventative reproductive and sexual health care that Planned Parenthood provides to thousands of Missourians and millions of Americans every year.
Okay.
So I would like the congressperson to know though.
She ran, in fact, going back to when her first campaign for Congress in 2010, she has been opposed to Obamacare, so it's not something new that we're learning today. She's been
Yeah.
doing that for 7 or 8 years.
Well, but I'm a constituent, so I would
No,
like
I
to-
appreciate that. No, but I mean, you're saying whether, you asked a question about her view, and I'm telling you, it's not a new view, it's an 8-year-old view.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we just came up with, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's something she's supported getting rid of. She believes, for instance, the individual mandate, which has been eliminated in the tax reform bill, is something that is, she really believes that somebody who, a citizen who is simply for a living should be forced by the government to purchase a product. She thinks that's wrong. And she has argued in favor of removing the individual mandate for some time now, for many years. She's happy that this is part of that piece of legislation.